Well, good morning, guys. How are y'all doing?
Doing great.
Well, yeah, how are you doing?
Doing wonderful. California is so beautiful. The weather is amazing. I live in Texas, so it's always hot. So it's so great to get out of Texas and come somewhere where it's blue skies and not hot. So thank you guys for hosting ShipMonk today. Really appreciate it. I thought we'd just start off with some quick introductions, let everybody know who you guys are. Why don't we start with you?
Yeah, my name's Andrew Sutton. I'm the Senior Director of Fulfillment Logistics here at Dr. Squatch.
Awesome. How long have you been here?
I've been here for about 4.5 years.
Awesome.
Yeah, which feels like it's been 4.5 decades or 4.5 days, depending on how you look at it.
Yes, yeah. It's like e-commerce years are like dog life years, right?
Yeah. It's been fun though.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. All right.
Jason Welsh. My title is Senior Manager, overseeing Ecom and Wholesale Fulfillment. I also see all day-to-day ops with our 3PL partners.
Awesome. And how long have you been at Dr. Squatch?
I'm in my 4th year.
Oh, very cool. So y'all are kind of here at the same amount of time then. Very
Yes.
cool.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm Cynthia LaRue, the VP of Marketing at ShipMonk, and so glad to be here. We're going to get started out with some questions. Are y'all ready?
Absolutely.
I know
think
y'all
so.
are ready. And I just have to say, the beard is looking pretty sharp today. Those Dr. Squatch
As
products.
promised.
As promised, those Dr. Squatch products really do work. So. So we're going to start out talking about sort of your challenge before you chose ShipMonk, right? Just your challenges with fulfillment, why you chose ShipMonk as your third-party logistics provider, your 3PL. So that's where we're going to start out this morning, okay?
Perfect.
So how were you meeting your omni-channel logistics before ShipMonk? Like, what were you guys doing before you selected ShipMonk as your 3PL?
So prior to ShipMonk, we were almost on an annual journey, recreating the wheel, trying to find a 3PL partner that could grow with us, scale with us, and then also challenge us to become a better partner, look for a win-win opportunity. There's a lot of long days, long nights, sleepless nights, just trying to find that right partner for us that we knew that we could grow with. And yeah, I guess trying to do the best we could, but it was, recreating the wheel, I'd say is probably the best way to describe it each and every year.
That makes sense. Yeah, are you able to sleep now, though?
Yeah, quite well. I have a 9-month-old at home now, so maybe not as much, but
right.
for a different reason. Yeah.
For different reasons, though. Hopefully not the logistics end of the business. That's cool. That's
Definitely.
great. Okay, awesome. And then, before you chose ShipMonk, were you guys using a traditional 3PL? Were you doing self-fulfillment? Did you have a warehouse management software platform? What were you guys doing before?
We were at 3PLs, so we were with several 3PLs before we came to ShipMonk. We were in a long search for reliability, so we hopped around, like Andrew said, for the last few years before reaching ShipMonk.
Yeah, and it's a lot of work to change 3PLs. I mean, you don't just flip a switch and go, I'm going to change 3PLs today. It's a lot of heavy lifting, so completely understand that cycle that you were on in the sleepless nights. That completely makes sense.
Definitely. Yeah, and I guess maybe just to add to that too,
Yeah.
I guess maybe to clarify, so my title is Director or Senior Director of Fulfillment. He oversees D2C fulfillment. We do outsource all fulfillment across all channels and all locations. And it's definitely not something that we want to necessarily in-house. Sometimes we do consider it, but really our strengths as a company are product development, so top-tier products. We now produce most of our own bar soap, some deodorant, some other products that we're scaling, and then our marketing. So those are our 3 focuses, and we want to ensure that we're working with 3PLs that don't require it to become a distraction for our 3 primary focuses.
That makes sense. And I have to say, as someone who's been in marketing for over 20 years, you guys have the bomb marketing. You really do. I mean, you guys
They're
just
great.
knock
They
it
are
out of
a
the
wild
park.
bunch.
You really know your ICP, you really know, who's buying your products, and you speak to them, and you're just so creative. So you guys do a fantastic job, and your products are amazing. I was telling at dinner last night, we got together, and I was saying that I have been married for 30 years, and my husband has used the same products for probably 30 years. And so when I came to join ShipMonk and I learned that you guys were a customer, I did buy him some products. And he was like, what is this? Why are you giving this to me? I'm like, try something new. And he absolutely loves the product. So definitely a testament to what you guys focus on at your core. And that's really great to hear. So thank you for sharing that.
That's
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All righty. So you kind of talked about some problems that you were facing, just sort of, sleepless nights and unstable fulfillment. Are there any, were there any other specific problems you were looking to solve before you chose ShipMonk? Was there like 1 or 2 things, we've got to have this for this to be a great relationship?
Yeah, I'd say execution of core operational basics. We were struggling to find somebody who could FIFO our orders, first in, first out, good replenishment processes, slotting, transparent invoicing, things like data transparency, and then daily execution of SLAs, which you would think is a non-negotiable with a 3PL, but it was becoming really hard for us to find. And we just couldn't scale without somebody who could nail those aspects of the business.
It's so funny how people do not respect or understand how important SLAs are, right? And it's just a little three letter acronym, but it is so critical to driving success in almost any business, but certainly in supply chain logistics and fulfillment. That's really cool. Awesome. So before you joined ShipMonk, do you feel like you suffered from lack of visibility, trouble making data-driven decisions, or you definitely talked about inefficient scaling already. How about that transparency and data-driven decisions? Was that something that was lacking?
Yeah, absolutely. We had never had access to the level of data that we have now. Most of our business decisions are run through our BI engine and now our ERP. And without real-time data, it was really hard for us to make decisions or even identify opportunities within the process that we could hone in on to make like incremental improvements. And now that's something that's, we deal with it daily, I guess. So like we have access to everything. We're able to make decisions, and it's just allowed us to grow as a company and focus, like Andrew said, what we're good at. Scaling the business.
Right. Yeah, I love that. So going back to that lack of visibility that you had before, I love that you picked up on that, and that having that real-time data with ShipMonk is so important to you. And that's something that we really pride ourselves in, is making sure it's real-time. And nobody wants to look at last month's KPIs. Right? We look at today's, yesterday's, last week. So thank you for clicking into that. That's great. What about customer demands? How was it impacting customer demands, do you think, not having that great 3PL partner? Was that something that was also troublesome?
Yeah, totally. I think just the uncertainty and the lack of ability to ensure a customer what that experience would be all the way through delivery was definitely nerve-wracking. And so it was almost flip a quarter, whether the order was going to go out on time, accurate. And that really handcuffed our team, the ability to, whether we wanted to launch into promotions or peak season, they're just like holding our breath to hopefully see if it goes right. For many months there, customer complaints about Wismo or late deliveries, incorrect orders were number one ticket driver for our customer service team. So eating up a lot of bandwidth, hours, cost, a lot of returns, replacements, lost customers, wasted ad spend. So you name it, yes, it's a major concern for the whole entire organization.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. Truthfully, all that we do, even me in marketing and you guys in ops and fulfillment, it really is about the customer at the end of the day, right? Getting them what they want, when they expect it. And so, yeah, that customer experience is really paramount. It's why we all kind of exist. It doesn't matter what role you have, working for an e-commerce business or a 3PL, it really is the customer and them getting what they ordered in a timely manner, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, we're not ignorant of the fact that no one's going to come back to a brand for the fact that they had a good fulfillment experience. That's table stakes. But as we touched on already, we're known for our products, our marketing, and we want to make sure we complete that whole entire customer experience journey through delivery. So they might not come back for a good shipping experience, but they'll definitely stop shopping if they have a terrible fulfillment experience. So we take our job pretty seriously for that fact alone.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, it's funny because, it's that cost per click, me being in marketing, I know all about your cost per acquisition, and you spend that money to get that customer and then you can't get the product to them. It's just like, oh my goodness, this is just drives you crazy, right?
Very disheartening.
Very disheartening. Awesome. All right, guys, well, we're going to move on to the solution. So we sort of know why you were on the hunt, if you will, for a new 3PL. So thank you for walking us through that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about, ultimately you chose ShipMonk and why you chose ShipMonk. So we're going to kind of go down that path now. So what were the top reasons that you chose ShipMonk? And, what about our solutions and our services really stood out to you? What was that? What were those top reasons?
Yeah, so for me, I'd say there's three things. One was the team. We had a very genuine feel from the ShipMonk leadership from day one. They were very transparent and straightforward. They were very fair with us from the beginning, even with the RFP. The VCN was huge for us, a virtual carrier network. We had never had the options that we would be afforded with ShipMonk, and which meant we're never going to be pigeonholed to a single carrier. Something happens, God forbid, we have options, right? And with ShipMonk's network, that VCN and your guys' vast network meant that we would have affordable options as well. Last, I'd say the tech and data stack was very appealing to us. We talked a lot about transparency of data. That was never something that we had experienced, and it was very clear early on that what your guys had to offer was going to allow us to scale efficiently and make better business decisions.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's one of our top core value at ShipMonk is merchant first. And to me, our virtual carrier network, our VCN, really to me is all about the merchant. Because if you are pigeonholed and you're only using one carrier, we know which carrier most people use, you really are setting yourself up for failure, not only with delivery times, but just also the cost. And so we really spent a lot of money and time at ShipMonk, making sure that our virtual carrier network is robust. It has a robust group of carriers, and we're constantly monitoring it, negotiating with carriers. So we put a lot of energy and time into our VCN. So I'm so glad you brought it up, and it was a big part of the decision-making process for you. So that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. And then even fast forwarding today, like it's constantly evolving.
Yes.
The transportation team is great. They're always bringing new options to the table. They're not afraid to try new things and like just make incremental improvements, like we talked about earlier. Identifying areas where our click to delivery is suffering as a result of time in transit, and let's try to implement this, see what happens, test it. If it doesn't work, so what? Let's go back. But yeah, it's always changing. It seems like it's very highly customizable.
Yes.
And it's been great.
That's awesome, yeah.
I could double click into that.
Yes, please do, yeah.
The
Let's
one
talk
time-
about VCN. Oh, we're all so excited.
Yeah.
To the rest of the world, this is not exciting, but to us, it is.
Yeah, I think VCN is a great example of it, but what was really evident from really RFP discussions and site visits early on is ShipMonk's insatiable desire for improvement. And something I really appreciate about ShipMonk and the other warehouses maybe do this too is like ShipMonk doesn't only share what they're proud of and what they're really good at, but they're also willing to expose what maybe you're missing the mark in, and what they're going to do to address those issues early on. So that just made us feel comfortable from day one that they weren't going to only show us the good stuff and hide the bad stuff as best they could, but actually wanted to reveal to us the areas that they wanted to improve and improve the client experience.
I love that. It's so true. I mean, look, this is not an exact science, right? I mean, fulfillment, e-commerce, retail, that things happen every day that influence our businesses. And so you have to show the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? Or you can't make it better. And I loved, both of you sort of talked about optimizations and efficiencies and testing and learning. I mean, I feel like your company does that a lot too, just from all the marketing and just being here at your headquarters this week. I can see that you're always testing new things, and so we're obsessed with that testing. We kind of feel like we have a culture of test and learn at ShipMonk, and we kind of roll that out to our merchants, obviously. So thank you for clicking into that. That's cool. Yeah. Alrighty. So once you chose ShipMonk as your 3PL, thank you for choosing us. We are so glad you're a merchant. How was the onboarding process? Because that's always hard, right? It's not easy. You don't just magically have your inventory show up in new fulfillment centers. So give us a little insight into the onboarding process with ShipMonk and how that kind of helped the operations eventually run smoothly.
Yeah, so for us in particular, at the time of contracting, we were in a really bad spot with our previous 3PL. So we had to get out of there quick. And part of the onboarding process, we were very clear about that, is like we needed to make it happen fast. ShipMonk made a lot of big promises, but much to our surprise, they delivered. It's not easy to transition from 3PL to 3PL. I felt like they approached it from a project management standpoint. There was key milestones. We tracked against those. There was clear communication. We set the standard from day one of what to expect. And honestly, like looking back, I don't know if I would have changed anything. It happened very quickly. Once we get the contract signed, I think we were shipping within 3 weeks.
Wow.
Which was very, very impressive.
Wow. All right.
Honestly, that should be done that way.
We said we were going to do something and we delivered. Man, that's awesome.
Yeah,
we
it's
have
huge.
Such a great onboarding team. It's led by a lady named Carrie. I don't know if you guys knew.
Absolutely.
You guys know
Yeah,
Carrie.
yeah.
She's wonderful, and she leads just a team of A-class team members. So she's going to be happy to hear you say that. And it's so funny. We've been working on some of our onboarding content for new merchants who are onboarding to make it, even better. So it's so great to hear you say that. And 3 weeks is outstanding. And I would imagine the two of you were working quite some long nights during that time. I would imagine to get
most
make that
definitely.
happen. That's really cool. Did you want to add anything to that, or?
No, I think the only thing I'd add is the onboarding experience can set the foundation for that working relationship, that partnership. So if it's going to be rock solid from the get-go, as it was with ShipMonk, it gave us so much trust and confidence in the resulting weeks and months and years that have come from that partnership. So the fact that ShipMonk invests in it and makes it a priority from the get-go, it means a lot to us as merchants.
That's awesome. Thank y'all for that. Alrighty. So how has ShipMonk helped you overcome the challenges you had before?
Yeah, so it really came down to the data transparency and us having the ability to make better business decisions for our customers. We're kind of flying blind in terms of what we needed to hone in on to make improvements and improve the fulfillment experience for our customers. We were focused on micromanaging our 3PLs previously instead of growing our business, which is most important for us.
Yeah, I love it. Going back to those 3 pillars that you want to focus on makes complete sense. Awesome. How has ShipMonk been different from the alternatives that you tried before? I mean, you've talked a lot about it, but is there any couple of things that you can say, ShipMonk, you guys talked about the leadership and delivering. Anything else you want to click into there?
Yeah, I would say the areas that stand out to me compared to my previous 3PL experiences, we're already touching it, but onboarding experience from the get-go was a positive. Proactive communications, the transparency, the fact ShipMonk's willing to turn over all the data from the WMS to us for us to be able to understand and see what's going on under the hood without needing to wait for responses from ShipMonk to provide reports or data has been a big unlock. The VCN stands out to us that ShipMonk isn't focused not only on cost but also on performance and finding that perfect balance. But yeah, the team, the leadership, we enjoy visiting ShipMonk's facilities, the team. It almost feels like an extension of Dr. Squatch, which is really refreshing. I don't want to say this about the whole entire 3PL industry, but I've had a number of experiences where 3PLs try to do whatever they can to get you in the door, and then the bare minimum to make you to keep you around as a client, but they don't always want to go above and beyond and invest in improving. So the fact that ShipMonk makes it evident that they want to continuously improve at all costs really stands out to us as a positive.
That's awesome. So, okay.
Yeah, if I could add one thing, I'd say the access to support. To be perfectly honest, I was hesitant in terms of working with a happiness engineer or a CX representative instead of directly with operators, which is something I've dealt with in the past. Oftentimes with CX, they're very removed, and sometimes they need to educate themselves of what we're asking before they can go and execute. But the folks that we work with, they're extremely bright, very knowledgeable of the fulfillment process. So it's streamlined communication between us and operations. Like, let the operators operate, right, and let the HE folks or the happiness engineer folks work on the problems. But they've been fantastic. We've had a few, but the transition between have been seamless, and the support that they have behind the scenes in terms of the other folks has just been fantastic.
That's awesome. Yeah, I do love that their titles are happiness engineers. They really do want to make the merchants happy.
Yeah.
And one of our core values is people make ShipMonk, right? And so we really, our CX team and our merchant success management team, they're just outstanding. And when I get around them, and they are just obsessed with what's happening for the merchants, right? I mean, they really understand our tech stack. They truly are fulfillment consultants. They really understand fulfillment, which is unusual, I think, for most 3PLs are kind of removed from it, like you said. So that's great that you guys called that out. And then the comment that you both made about our leadership, it's Kevin Sides is our president and co-founder, and one of the things he has said to me on multiple times is, he expects his executive leadership team to be boots on the ground. Mm-hmm. They're not in ivory towers, at the corporate headquarters, being amazing leaders, which they are amazing leaders, but they truly are in the fulfillment centers each and every day. They know how to pick and pack and ship and receive and do returns and all those things. So thank you both for calling that out and seeing it. That's really great. That's wonderful. That's awesome. Tell me about your most positive experience you had with ShipMonk. A person, a process, whatever it is. We'd love just to hear about, and both of you can answer this question if you don't mind, just your most positive experience you've had with ShipMonk would be great.
Yeah, sure. So I'll start. Our click-to-delivery journey, probably one of the greatest stories that I've ever heard in fulfillment. And that's no exaggeration. I've been in fulfillment for nearly 18 years, and I've never seen a initiative that was so collaborative and driven towards a result that was beneficial to both sides. To kind of expand on what the journey was like, when we started with ShipMonk, our click-to-delivery was around 7-8 days for economy. Not ideal. We had aspirations of being below 5 when we moved to ShipMonk. We went 4-node, which is a very aggressive strategy for a brand our size. And we worked hand in hand with the ShipMonk team from top to bottom, and we made incremental improvements. And over the course of, I'd say, probably 6 to 9 months, we dropped that by 50%. Now we are below 4 days for economy. This is for you. Yeah, we're under 4 days for economy, which is fantastic. And I wish I could call out individuals, but honestly, it was just such a collaborative experience from both sides. Both teams were bringing data to the table, identifying areas that we can hone in on, and we were just aggressive on both sides of the table. And it was never like a push and pull. It was just both of us working towards a common goal. And then at the end of the day, we achieved it. It's been fantastic.
That is so awesome to hear, down from 8 to 4. I mean, that's customer experience at the heart of what you do, right?
Yeah.
If you keep that customer at the center of what you're doing, what you're driving, you're going to win. And we're obsessed with our customers, you as a merchant, but also your customers. So that is a great story. Thank you for telling that. That's cool. The team is going to be
Absolutely.
so happy to hear this. It's so exciting. How about you? Anything you would like to share?
Yeah, I think I'd probably just be repeating ourselves a little bit, though. I think from going contract to shipping in 3 weeks during a time of need for us was huge. And then at the same time, having such a positive onboarding experience and having that hypercare period where we felt seen and heard. And not only just ShipMonk handholding us to become comfortable with maybe how ShipMonk operates, but also encouraging us to maybe change the way we thought. We operated to better support ShipMonk. And so it's really collaborative. We wanted a win-win type situation with our partner, and we want a partner that's willing to engage in shared pain and gain situations and opportunities, and ShipMonk's definitely that partner. And so just being able to experience that from the get-go and have that trust, that confidence, really set the stage for what's transpired to be a wonderful few years and hopefully many, many years to come.
I love that. I love that win-win because we're all in business, right? And Kevin Sides, our president, he says that all the time. He really, truly cares about Dr. Squatch's experience with ShipMonk, and he talks about that in all of his meetings and when he's slacking the teams and doing those types of things. So that win-win is really important.
Yeah.
Thank you for highlighting that.
Yeah, I don't think it's very common. I'll occasionally get texts from Kevin, and I don't think that's very common for many 3PLs for the upper leadership to be texting merchants, just checking in, seeing what's going on. So Kevin's obsessed with fulfillment specifically, but he's also obsessed with the merchant experience. So to have that on both sides, and a lack of ego too at the same time, like confidence, pride, but a lack of ego is very, very refreshing, I'd say.
That is so Kevin. And the thing is that when you have your president is like that, it trickles down through the whole organization, right? To be obsessed, to be passionate. So that's great. Thank you. How have ShipMonk's fulfillment services and technology improved your overall operations?
I'd say at the highest level, we now have confidence across the organization that whatever we produce or promote, we can execute on it and guarantee that customer experience all the way through delivery. So in this macro environment, for a customer shopping online, they want to know when to expect their order. So the fact that we can show an expected delivery date at checkout that we can hit or beat is huge for the whole entire organization. And it's been a big unlock for customer experience.
That's awesome. I love that you guys are so obsessed with customer experience. That's why you're so successful,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah, happy customers make happy merchants, make happy 3PLs. So
Yeah, that's
it's a
awesome.
win-win.
Yes, absolutely. So have you improved well, we kind of talked about this a little bit. Have you improved order accuracy, shipping speed, inventory management? We know with shipping speed for sure. How about order accuracy and inventory management?
Yeah, so pick and pack accuracy is consistently above 99.5%, which is pretty great. We talked a lot earlier about WISMO tickets and CX tickets related to fulfillment experiences being a big detractor for our company in the past. That's no longer the case. Speaking of CX tickets, fulfillment-related tickets are out of our top 10, which is awesome. Replacement and store credit, in terms of our bottom line, those have all been decreased substantially.
Those are amazing KPIs. Yeah. That's great. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of anything else. There's so much good stuff.
Those are great.
Yeah.
That's a great list. Thank you.
I mean,
All
there's
right.
also like the intangibles of just not having to micromanage, right? So
Yes,
you
you
can
both
focus
mentioned
on-
that. Yeah, the not needing to just obsess all day and
Yeah.
micromanage your 3PL, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I'd say that real-time data visibility too. I mean, hopefully, in a perfect world, there's no issues in logistics, but we know it's not the case. So it's not if, it's when something goes
Right.
wrong. And ShipMonk's always been a great partner to collaborate in those solutions, but specifically, we now have the necessary data. Instead of taking days to piece together impact and reach out to customers, we're now taking hours, if not minutes, to be able to understand the impact, reach out, try to save that customer experience proactively versus waiting for them to reach out because their order's incorrect or late or whatever it might be. So that's been a nice unlock too when things maybe aren't going perfectly, but we can still have a win-win situation.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so true. It's not a matter of if, it is when.
Yeah.
I know you both have younger children, but when you get to have teenagers, it's not a matter of if they will wreck the car. It's a matter of when they will wreck the car. So that's so true, though. I mean, that's just the nature of our business that we're in. Something's going to go awry, and it's really how you, when that thing happens, how you react and just sort of push through it and persevere anyway. So that's great.
That's when people's real colors come out.
Yes.
That's when you understand what a 3PL is all about, the brands are all about. When the road gets a little bit bumpy, like how they operate, how they take responsibility, how they communicate. And our experience with ShipMonk throughout all these speed bumps along the way has been positive.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Going back to your comment about high school kids, I'm not putting it past my 2-year-old to wreck my truck, by the way. He's a wild man.
With the cowboy hat on.
Definitely. and a smile on his face.
I love that. That's awesome. Overall, how has ShipMonk helped you achieve your business goals? I mean, we've really talked about click to delivery, the C to D, and anything else that you want to highlight?
Yeah, I mean, we have the confidence to scale. Like we've said many times, we don't need to micromanage. We don't need to worry about day-to-day ops. We know our 3PL partner has that covered. Let us focus on what we're good at, and that's growing the business. And that means aggressive marketing calendars. Fulfillment's never going to be a bottleneck. It's just nice peace of mind.
And then financially too, it's also been a win-win for both
Sure.
sides. ShipMonk has been very transparent and honest and realistic and reasonable with GRIs and price and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
to know that we're hitting or beating budget internally, but also far surpassing our performance expectations is a nice win for the whole entire organization. So that's something that we get to look at each month, each quarter, each year, and just understand that pricing, we're not sacrificing pricing just to improve the performance, but it's a nice blend of both cost and performance.
Yeah, that's great. It's always a blend, always a blend. Those GRIs, they come out every year. They come out every year.
Yeah.
We fight for our merchants with those GRIs. We are fighting.
I can only imagine,
Year
We
round.
only have to talk to one. You guys have to talk to all your carriers.
All of
and
them, all of them. And we talk to them. I guarantee you we do.
Yeah.
Okay, so why would you guys recommend ShipMonk to another merchant? If you're out line dancing maybe, or riding a bull, or doing anything fun, why would you recommend ShipMonk as a 3PL option?
Well, for anybody who hasn't been listening for the last 30 minutes, I mean, they're a true partner. Like they have stake in us scaling. They're transparent, they're proactive, great communication, great people, which is very important to me. Like we're big on relationships. One of the things that my boss said to me, like when he hired me, we want to be the 3PL's favorite customer, right? And you can't do that if you don't work with people that you genuinely enjoy. And that is the case with ShipMonk. Like I enjoy everybody that I work with on a daily basis. They're passionate, they're smart, they're hungry, and it's just been a great experience all the way around.
That's amazing, yeah. And you guys are an amazing customer. We're really very grateful for the relationship, and that you guys look at us as a partner. And that's what we're trying to do, really, with all of our merchants. We really want to not be seen as a vendor. We want to be seen as a partner, because this is not transactional. Being a merchant and being a 3PL, it's not a transactional situation. It is a deep relationship that we have, and a deep partnership, and one that we want to have for the long term. So we see that, and we're so grateful that your team sees it as well. So thank you for that. That's awesome. Yeah.
I think I would maybe just say just one quick sentence. It's very obvious to us that ShipMonk treats our fulfillment volumes as if it was their own brand. And so it gives us a lot of peace and comfort and just trust, knowing that we're in good hands with ShipMonk.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. All righty. Last question, guys. Last one. All right. So where do you see the relationship with ShipMonk going in the future? Anything on the horizons? Anything cool or exciting happening?
We have an extension coming up.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah. I think just a lot of the same that we've already experienced in the last couple of years is continuing to hone in on more and more opportunities to improve the operation, save on cost, increase performance, the CX, and really collaborate and challenge each other to become better partner, better provider, better brand, whatever we possibly do. I think there's less low-hanging fruit now, so now we're having to really get in the weeds. But all that to be said, there's a lot of positive momentum that's been built up over the first couple of years, and we're excited to see where that takes us.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say that ShipMonk's working on a lot of other aspects beyond D2C fulfillment, which is certainly an attractive item for us as we become more and more complex. So ideally in the future, like they can help us reduce some of that complexity, right?
That's awesome. Well, guys, it has been my absolute pleasure to meet both of you and to spend time with you at this really cool headquarters that you guys are very lucky to work in. So just really appreciate your time, your energy, and just your preparation for today has been outstanding. So we just thank you so much for being a customer, and thank you personally for me for allowing me to be here today. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
Lovely.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
ShipMonk.
Yeah.